Alright, so today we are breaking the camera off of the tripod and going on a vacation. So with type 1 diabetes, I'm going to break down the strategies and products that I am packing for a boat trip where we're going on a boat for the next 7 days so that I can maintain some stable, smooth sailing blood sugars as we hop on the smooth sailing ship. So that's the goal. I'm going to walk through again the products, the strategies, and follow along as we figure out the blood sugars with no carb counts, a completely chaotic schedule, and lots of different ports that I've never been to in my entire life. So I'm going to flip this around and show you my suitcase, break down the thoughts behind it, and then we're going to be on the road. So here we go. Top to bottom, very top, I've got some snacks and some salt packets. I use different electrolyte mixes for my workouts and everything. Obviously, you see I got my CGM, I got my pump, I got my pump supplies. And then in the middle there, I actually got some protein powder that I really enjoy having for breakfast. So I've mixed that into some water, have that alongside some toast, some fruit, that sort of stuff. And I just take it with me because it makes it easier. Now, down the middle, you see I've got this temperature-controlled thermos looking thing. This is actually what I'm going to walk through later in the video. This is what's keeping my insulin cool. On the plane, as we're traveling, who knows if we have a hotel refrigerator. So I've got that, but I'll talk more about that later. See what they call the Voyager. So this one, as you can tell, it says 45 right there. I don't know if you can see it, but it means it's 45 degrees. I've been watching it for the last 20 minutes or so, go from 70 degrees all the way down to 45. And it was at 36 a couple minutes ago, but it's keeping it temperature controlled, right? So this is a power bank that comes from 4L family as well. You use it to keep it going. All right, so we made it. I'm gonna throw my blood sugars on the screen. As you can tell, they're a little bit higher because now it's time for us to walk on board and I gotta carry 5 bags with me. So I'm gonna keep blood sugars right where they're at, which I think is 124 at the moment, and walk like a mile to get on board and get this journey started. Catch you guys there. All right, I had to put this on. Give me a girl. We're matching messy because we both had a snack, and Daddy completely want some chocolate? You want it? Okay. Here we go. Daddy had some blood sugars that were dropping. Yummy. So blood sugars we'll put up there. I was like, you know what? I got another mile to walk. And now the family's here, so we're gonna go and you can see you in the mirror. I gotta clean my face off. We're gonna get out of here. Let's go. Brooklyn. All right, so quick 36 hours in day 1 recap. So I'll put it right here. The first 36 hours, or last 2 days, I've been 99% time in range. So close to 100%, but that is by no means easy. It has been challenging because there's not a single carb count. My macronutrient profiles are completely out of whack. I've eaten more meat in the last 2 days than I have, or 1 day, than I have in the last month. So it's been challenging to figure out how much insulin to take and keep blood sugars in check. Thankfully, I've got this guy right here, and I'll do maybe a more in-depth review of what we got going on, but this has been keeping my insulin cool. This top actually like a mini refrigerator. It's awesome. I'm using it as a camera stand right now. So it's been challenging, and it's going to continue getting more challenging because tomorrow is our first day landing at port. So we're going into Cabo San Lucas, and what gets more challenging is there's still no carb counts. There's more activity and less structure with the schedules. I don't even know what we're doing tomorrow yet, but it's been a blast, and I'll be sure to keep you guys updated with more of these updates on what the blood sugars are doing, how everything is panning out. And this was actually just an hour ago. I'll put a little video there why I'm all dressed up today. We had a nice family dinner. Everybody got all dressed up. It was fantastic, delicious food too. You probably hear my little one in the background. So we got we got bedtime right now with my toddler. So this is me checking out. I gotta get up at 6 a.m. for a workout. That's the only time I can get the workouts in, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow. All right, so today's vlog entry is going to be in the hallway because my daughter is asleep now. But it was a fun day in Cabo. The day was absolute chaos, and that wasn't just blood sugars; it was a whole thing. Like our boat crashed, and it was gnarly. So I didn't get to really get any footage because I was scared that we were going to fall out of the boat, and I was holding on to Brooklyn the entire time. It was a memory that we've got in our hands now. I'm gonna make sure I'm on the right floor. Oh, this is my floor. All right, so blood sugars came out for the week right here. So my clarity report gets delivered to me every single week, tells me how I'm doing. It says I'm 98% time in range, which is pretty cool, pretty okay. I'm happy with that. Blood sugars themselves, I ended up skipping lunch because it was so chaotic today. Didn't have time for it. Myself, my wife, and my daughter. Nobody got food, which is another way to test your basals. If you ever find out you need to do that, there's more to it than just that, of course. But it was one option that I decided to gather some data from. I love getting data for my blood sugar. So tomorrow, I'm gonna have to be a bit more on top of documenting the day and hopefully getting some safer boat tours that don't put our lives at risk. And I'll make sure that you guys get the updates as they come through. But shh, we're almost at the room, so I'll see you guys tomorrow. So I got some ice cream, and we gotta go find Lisa and Brooklyn, and I'm gonna show you guys something I've been playing with. This is melting so fast. There we go. All right. Wait, try ice cream before it all melts. Let's get Brooklyn some. All right, to give you an idea of how hot it is today, I got this ice cream like a minute ago, not even a minute, and it's already melting like crazy. So I don't have time to bolus for it, but I'm gonna show you guys something once I get back to get my insulin pump. Something I've been playing with. Got my insulin pump hooked up, and I wanted to show you guys this device that I've been carrying around with me that I found very helpful for this trip. So as you can tell, today's a pool day. We're supposed to be at Mazatlan in Mexico, but yesterday, over 24 hours ago, I busted my ankle so bad that it's still swollen. So we turned it into a pool day. There you go. We're playing around out there, and I'm using this to keep my insulin cool, and a few other things as well. It's meant for insulin, but you know, you can fit some snacks in there occasionally. But I wanted to show it to you guys because this video is actually sponsored by For All Family. They wanted me to show you guys some cool new diabetic stuff. So I'm gonna take this sling off. Let's see if I can do it with our shoes. There you go. So it's a canister. The top that I've been using is essentially like a refrigerator on the go, but I swapped it out for this one. It's got better insulation for day trips. So this is what I was planning on taking with me to land, because today was supposed to be another day trip. You know, we're at a new port. Since this is a cruise, every new day is a new place that we go to. So I swapped it out, and inside, let's see if I can get this balanced. Take the cap off. Inside it's got this awesome like gel freezer pack thing that keeps your insulin right at the right temperature, and it shows that, you know, put it in the freezer, let it freeze, let it thaw out, put it back in, and then you slip it in with your insulin. And then this cap keeps it nice and cool. So two really cool options. I'll do a full breakdown at the end of the video probably, show you guys my preferences, what I like about it, just the whole review. But for today, been a nice day to sit back and relax. The injury is a bummer, but you take the good with the bad. We get to chill. Brooklyn gets to swim. She loves being in the water, so I just got out of the pool with her. Now it's Lisa's turn, and I got some ice cream that's melting on my bag. So I'm gonna get back to the ice cream, and we'll check in with you guys later. And that is the end of the trip. We got the boat right there. I know I missed like 3 days in there, so I'll do a detailed breakdown of everything in a sec. But we're loading up. It's been chaos the last few days, good chaos. And this is us saying goodbye to the family as we all drive 2 more hours to get back home. And I'll fill you guys in on the stories in just a sec on the next screen. So we finally made it back home. It was an incredible trip, and I just got an idea. I want to give you guys the breakdowns of what worked and clearly what didn't, alongside the new plan, which is I'm going to continue this video into our next trip, because we're actually leaving in a few weeks, which is going to be a few seconds for you if you're watching this, to hop on a plane across the country. First time taking a flight with Brooklyn. So lots of new experiences for Brooklyn. But quick breakdown of what happened, right? So 7 or 8 days on a cruise ship. Number one concern, but also the best part, was the food. It was an endless supply of food. Absolutely delicious. I found out on like day 3 or day 4 that you can continue ordering and customize it and do whatever you want. So I turned what was a simple appetizer, entree, and dessert into 2 appetizers, 2 entrees, and 2 desserts almost every single night. And I probably had 4, 5, sometimes 6 meals a day. It was insane. Now, it was delicious, but that presented me with the unique difficulty, and that was overlapping insulin on board, consistently digesting all day long, but most importantly was the fats and proteins causing kind of an issue initially. Realistically, it was my own error. With that much fat and protein, because keep in mind, as I'll show on screen, I got probably 4 or 5 different types of meat every dinner. It was crazy. And you might hear Brooklyn in the background. We're still getting back into the swing of things. With that much protein and fat, I noticed that my pre-bolus had to be shorter because fats and proteins delay digestion. Those are always the 2 words that are hard together. Delay digestion. However, they also can lead to a delayed blood sugar spike. So what I needed to do for me was shorten my pre-bolus and then either give an extended bolus, or what I ended up doing was 2, 3, 4 extra boluses over the next few hours. Now my sister, who's also a type 1, she preferred the extended bolus method, and we're going to cover that in a different episode. Her and I are going to chat about our cruise experience and strategies and all that. But the number one assist to my blood sugars in handling all of that food was the exercise. Now my family is very active in general, so I knew this was going to be an easy way to make up for my errors, right? Now with exercise specifically, it helps us to increase our insulin sensitivity, but when you can have fun in doing it, you're more likely to keep doing it, right? So we did the surfing stuff, the walking around new cities. I made sure to get my workouts in every single morning at 6 a.m. In fact, I ended up seeing my parents there and my sister almost every day as well, because they're also very fitness minded, which is great. And even though I failed initially on the surf rider, where it's like a man-made wave you surf on, I did go back and I earned, as you can see here, the stars. We got the band, the advanced surfing band. And actually it was kind of an emotional day and a story where one after another, every single person in my family, myself, all of my sisters, my wife, my dad, my mom, everyone ended up getting their advanced surf band and was welcomed into the advanced group. And it was just so fun to see everybody succeed in that. But the workouts, the walking, the movement, and as I'll show on screen as well, chasing my daughter everywhere because she does not stop. That helped me to keep my blood sugars at a lower average. That being said, it did also push me a little lower than I would have liked a few times. And so all of these things taken into consideration, ultimately diabetes, especially type 1, is about balance, right? Balancing the extra fats and proteins with the added exercise. And where do you make adjustments and balance your equations? That was the challenge. But ultimately, I also decided I wasn't going to let diabetes hold me back from enjoying the full extent of the delicious foods. The adventures on shore, taking boats around the bend and not knowing what was going to happen next. That was the fun behind this. Now, what I wanted to share with you was the review of the products that I ended up using from For All Family. During that experience, it kept my insulin cool. I'm actually going to share at the end of this video now my in-depth review and show you how I tested these products, what I put them through, along with a special surprise for you. But for now, just know that it kept my insulin cool and working properly. There was a battery pack that I used that kept it charged and also kept my phone charged. It's called a power bank, technically. And those devices are what kept me at peace through my trip. I didn't have to worry about, is the insulin getting too hot? Because in each port, the lowest temperature that we saw was 90 degrees.
And walking around, it got to 95, 100, 100 plus. It was insane. So I was really grateful to have those devices, those products to keep my insulin cool. So at the very least, I knew that wasn't the reason that I was having high blood sugars, because it was probably all the food that I ate. So with that being said, fantastic trip. Hope you enjoyed this little montage. And we're going to get back into, well, what for me is a few weeks, but for you, about 2 seconds into the next trip, we're hopping on a plane to Florida.
All right, so we did Florida. It was amazing, but this is going to be a quick montage because in Florida, I forgot to get the freezer piece from the product that I was using from the hotel freezer. So we left it there. I had to order a new one, and now I have a new one, and we're actually packing to go on our next trip, which is to Oregon. So you guys are getting 3 different trips and a full review of traveling with diabetes. Now, in the Florida trip, I had a great time. We actually went out there for a business award that I was getting. So I got an award for helping a ton of diabetics, and they wanted to celebrate me for my accolades, or whatever you want to call it. Now, during that process, this was actually our daughter Brooklyn's first flight ever, which for blood sugars was a challenge in and of itself, because chasing a toddler around an airport and trying to get all of my devices through security, there's a lot to think about, but thankfully did not have any issues in security, because I did remember to actually freeze the ice pack thing that goes to keep my insulin cold. So it went smoothly, but because I forgot it and couldn't give you guys a full review, we are taking it on a 3rd trip. I do have that piece again. I reordered it and we're good to go. So the next clip, we're going to be in Oregon. So I hope you continue to watch and enjoy the video.
All right, so we're in Oregon now. Slight change of plans. The last piece of the video I filmed was like 2 months ago. I wanted to sit down, and actually my family's at the river right there. That's where I'm on vacation right now, and the river is just a beautiful spot. We're at this amazing cabin visiting family in Oregon. But I took this as an opportunity to really test this thing out, because we are off the grid for the most part. Like, we still have power, but we'll spend a day in the mountains. And so this thing from For All Family, I really wanted to test it out. Right now I've got the gel pack in there, right? And I'm doing this one-handed, so forgive me, but this gel pack that's sitting inside, quick story. First of all, it works great. It says it works like a couple days. It's been more than a couple days, and it's doing fantastic. But TSA, you do have to freeze it, and I want that to be known. I forgot to freeze it on my first trip, and had a quick conversation with TSA, pled my case, and they actually let me through, which I don't anticipate most people getting through. I got lucky, but ended up doing the freeze this time, and there was no problem. I didn't even check my bag. It just completely went through, error-free. But the temperature has been great, and the reason I wanted to make this video, and we're like 5 days into our trip in the mountains, is that I keep forgetting to record the review of this thing, and I thought, you know what, that is the review, because I don't have to think about or worry about, is my insulin safe, because I know this thing has got my back. Now, there's 2 components, right? So one is the ice pack that keeps it cool. Second one, though, is this piece that slips inside. So let's show you a quick little one-handed review. What's nice about this is that instead of just keeping it, we'll call it quote-unquote cold, it keeps it at a very specific temperature. So once it's on, you screw that on top, and there's a little plug right there that allows you to use the USB charger that I also got, right, this power bank, to keep it at an exact temperature. I believe it's 36 degrees to 46 degrees, which means during the day when it's in direct sunlight, it's not cooking in the sunlight because it's being temperature controlled. So I realized my review is that I'm not worried and I forget about it, which is the coolest thing ever. You can probably hear my family. They love athletic events, spike ball. They're probably going to end up in the river soon, even though it's like 35 degrees. But this whole thing has just been great. And I realized that the fact that I'm not thinking about it is the big win here. So I'll do a breakdown of all the different pieces and products and all that. But wanted to give you an update from the mountains, right? Like where this thing really shines, because even though we're off the grid, we do have power. So I can still put my insulin in the refrigerator if I needed to. But when I travel, going to hotels, refrigerators, you never know what the temperature is. And so it's really helpful to have precision for your insulin storage, because you don't want it to get too hot or too cold. That's always the big issue for travel. So being out here, oh, we can see them, I think. They're playing volleyball now. You can see people over there. The big win here is that I can keep it at a precise temperature. No matter if it was in the summer, when it be 90s or hundreds out here, but right now it's also keeping it from getting too cold, right? And it's just a beautiful thing, being able to travel and not have to worry or even think about my insulin. I actually just did a site change, which is why I pulled it out and thought about it in the first place. So yeah, we'll get back to the video. Maybe I'll put some other footage up from our Oregon trip, from our Florida trip, the one that I was supposed to do this video on, but again, forgot about it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video so far, and in the next little clip, I'll give you guys kind of a breakdown of all the different pieces to this thing. But for now, I got to get back to enjoying nature, time and family, and forgetting about the worries that come along with diabetes as much as possible. So, catch you guys in the next section. I gotta go.
All right, so we made it to the end of the video. As you can tell, things have changed. I'm actually in a different room entirely. And as you can tell here, we've got the award that I won in Florida. And I've competed in my third triathlon. So a lot has changed since the beginning of this video. But I wanted to give you guys a quick review and recap over the blood sugars and also the products that I was using in this video. So blood sugar wise, really interesting to see how they cooperate or didn't cooperate as I traveled, but big core concepts to remember that were helpful for me. The more consistent I am in schedules and food and exercise, the more consistent blood sugars are. That's just kind of the foundation. It's easier. I don't recommend that that is your core strategy because life gets kind of boring when you live the same day over and over again, right? But as long as I was relatively consistent in being active, I didn't have to have a specific workout, that was helpful. You saw that I had some familiar foods that I brought with me, like my protein drink. That keeps me kind of consistent and it helps, right? So I take it. Now, as far as the products that I use, I've actually got them, you probably hear the fans going right now. I've got two different products that I wanted to kind of dive a bit deeper in on. So the first one is actually what they call the Voyager. So this one, as you can tell, it says 45 right there. I don't know if you can see it, but it means it's 45 degrees. I've been watching it for the last 20 minutes or so, go from 70 degrees all the way down to 45, and it was at 36 a couple minutes ago, but it's keeping it temperature controlled, right? So this is a power bank that comes from 4L family as well. You use it to keep it going, and I've got a thermometer inside of here, so I'm gonna open it up and see what it says. I'm going to see if it is accurate. Well, I guess my thermometer could be inaccurate as well, right? So we've got, let's see what we got. Quick reading. Yeah, oh, my hand's already warming it up. I'm sorry. I think it says 50 now, but my hand is heating this thing up quickly. So it's probably at 46, which is very exciting. Very accurate. Now the second one that I wanted to go over, well, also this one came with me on the plane, as you probably saw. As long as you keep it plugged into the power source, which you can use any power bank, I've tried a few of them, it works great. So it's nice to have it temperature controlled because it allows you to have that peace of mind that I mentioned. Now the second one, this one took significantly shorter to, I'm gonna unplug it, to power down. It was from 70 degrees in like 5 or 10 minutes. Down to 39. Really cool. So you can see in here, if we open it up, oops, there we go. That's where you store your insulin, all your goodies. They've even got this cool little tray. You can put like test strips in or extra supplies, but this is where the insulin goes. And it was a lot faster. Obviously it's a little bit bulkier, but not really, you know? So these are the two options that you have for keeping insulin at a specific temperature as you're going around, palling around town and traveling. So both options are great. Both do have fans that keep it cold, so you got to make sure that doesn't get covered. But big picture, my best part of the review was ultimately that I forgot to review it because I wasn't thinking about it, right? It wasn't like, oh, just put an ice pack in there, or like put your insulin on ice and hope it doesn't freeze, because that's what I used to do, and I have had some terrible experiences with that, and with hotel refrigerators as well. Having a device that actually keeps it controlled in a specific temperature range, so that one I think is 36 to 46 for the Voyager, and this is called the Pioneer, if you go check it out. That was nice, having peace of mind, knowing that I just keep it powered with the power bank and it's good, right? Because I've had some bad experiences with hotel refrigerators. Sometimes they're too cold, sometimes they're too hot, sometimes you can't adjust them because the knob is broken. So this was nice to have both in the wild, in the mountains of Oregon, also in a hotel when we were in Florida, but also on a cruise ship when we were walking through different ports in Mexico and staying on a ship in the middle of the ocean for over a week, right? So I got to test these in very different environments, which is really cool. So overall, I would say I did enjoy these. I am going to keep using them. I even used the ice pack, took that through TSA. Probably saw a picture of it on my Oregon. If not, I'll put it back up. You can see me taking it through TSA. As long as it's frozen, it does get through, and they don't stop you for questions like they did on my first go because I forgot to freeze it. But I do think these were great products. And I actually chatted with the company, and they agreed to give you guys 10% off if you use the link. I'll put it in the description of this video. You can use that, and it is an affiliate link, so you can go check it out, because I do recommend it. So good to have access to different tools as we look at our diabetes management, because we want to be able to be more versatile, right, as we try to enjoy life to the fullest. So not being held back by having to keep our insulin cold. It's a big part of it if you like adventure and travel like myself. A few of my clients have also already went and grabbed these products, and they too had a great trip. They enjoyed the process, didn't have to think too much about keeping the insulin at the right temperature. So all that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video and watching it turn from a single trip into a double trip into a triple trip. And that's where we're at right now. We're cutting it off. I have no more travels for the near future anyways. But next time I do, I will likely be taking these with me. So I hope you enjoyed it. Drop a comment down below if you have any questions about this, or if you want to see more of these types of things in action. I'd love to provide that to you if you want to see me doing more real life stuff, right? So let me know what you guys want to see. Thanks so much for hanging around. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and check out the link in the description to go grab one of yours. We'll catch you guys in the next video, and keep up the fight.